All right, let's go to Molly. How you doing?
Hi, I'm fine.
Okay.
How are you guys doing?
Good.
I have a question.
Okay.
I was raised as Catholic. Things happened within my own religion, or answers that I were given that I didn't think were judgment calls that people on earth were supposed to make.
Okay.
And so I didn't go to church for like 20-some-odd years. Not recently, 2001, and I had a lot of questions about a lot of things. I believe there was an energy force of some kind. I believe maybe sometimes I called it a higher power. I don't know whether I believed that there was a God. I didn't believe necessarily in the whole thing. There were things I didn't choose, but I really didn't. And then I got very sick. I got hepatitis C.
Okay.
And anger, not in love. In anger, I said, okay, God, if you exist, prove it to me.
Yeah.
And I got 3 distinct things that happened.
Okay.
The third one was indisputable. And the first time it happened, I said, okay, that was really good. I want to see something else.
Okay.
A second thing happened, and then I said, okay, that was pretty good too. I'd like to see something else. The third thing, I couldn't ask for another vision or another sign because it was so in my face.
Okay.
There was no way to dispute it.
Okay.
Now, how do you answer that?
I'd be very interested to hear what these things were.
Okay, the first thing was I go take my dog for a walk in a certain park, and I go there all the time. And I've been going there for 5 years. And I had just found out I had hepatitis, and I was asking this person that you don't believe in, that I now do, to prove to me that he existed. And I got out of my car, and I've been to this park so many times that, I know, and I take the same path.
Okay.
It was like the whole park looked like it had a glow light on it. I felt an unbelievable presence of love. It didn't make any difference where I went in the park, and believe me, I went to the darkest part.
Okay.
That it wasn't glowing, and just absolutely beautiful. And I got in my car and felt overwhelmed. And then I said that was and it's never been like that before, and it's never been like that since.
Yeah.
Now, the next thing was, in November of that year, I went to another park. God seems to like parks. Anyway, I walked down into a grove of trees, and it was November. And actually, the butterflies should have been gone. And I was surrounded by about 25 monarch butterflies.
Okay.
They did not land on me. They just were surrounding. And I said, that was really good, so I'd like to see something else. At Christmas, I went into my garage and was trying to get my stuff out for Christmas decorations. And for some reason, I decided to straighten out a shelf that had nothing to do with what I was doing. There was no reason for me to do that. And I went through and found some books, and I was going through them, and I found a Bible that my mother had given me when I was a child. And I said, okay, that's it. Don't prove me anymore. I've got the answer.
Okay.
So I'm asking you, how does that happen? I mean, it was like I asked for in an argumentative form. I wasn't nice about my request.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't believe, then where does that force come from? What was that?
Yeah. Selective looking at the world through a certain kind of lens can definitely put things there that aren't there, or give them them a meaning that may not actually be there.
But the Bible, it wasn't like I was saying give something a meaning. I didn't even believe when I asked that anything was going to happen that was going to make me look.
But how many people do have a Bible, tucked in a corner of their garage or
how many people go into their garage and are trying to get out something else and don't? I wasn't there to go look at what sent me to that shelf, what sent me to look through those books when I didn't even have to, or the things that were on that shelf. Why did I do that? I've been in this house for 5 years. And I hadn't done that before.
Well, I think if you're going to ask any atheist, it's a series of coincidences. It's possible that you saw the park through that light because you were feeling spiritual, or because it happened to be a full moon. The stars were very bright. There were no clouds in the sky, and Mars was very, very close. So there happened to be a lot of light shining down on the park that day.
I wasn't feeling spiritual. I was feeling angry.
Right.
And I was feeling angry at all the people that told me there was a God. And I was feeling angry at God if he really did exist. And I wasn't acting in a spiritual manner, and I wasn't requesting the information in a spiritual manner, and I didn't feel spiritual.
And when was this again?
Huh?
And this was, I think you said, 2001?
It was in things have happened since then, but I won't get into those.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but it was in 2001.
And again, over time, your mind can definitely take a certain experience and change the factors in it to make it seem more relevant than it was.
Okay, I'll grant that on the 2 park expeditions, but I won't grant it on the Bible one.
Okay. And as for the Bible, I mean, again, I see. I'm reluctant to answer this question because I believe that if it was important for you to find value in these experiences, then I don't want to take that away from you. And I believe that for most people who do believe in God, they believe in God because it gives them something that they're not getting somewhere else. It answers questions that they need answered, or it provides them with an emotional outlet that they can't find somewhere else. A lot of people just can't accept that when you die, that's it, you just die. So they believe in God because it's comforting. And so I don't want to take that experience from you. But I mean, if you're going to ask any skeptic-minded atheist, we're going to say, well, you know, I mean, that Bible was there in your garage. It got there somehow. I don't believe it was placed there by God, because you said it wasn't just a random Bible that just showed up randomly. It was a Bible your mother gave you, and you put it in your garage a long time ago, and you happened to stumble across it.
I don't think he placed it there. I know that it was placed there. What I'm saying is that the timing was just very, well, whatever. But, I mean, you know, I guess we'll all know the answer when we die.
Yeah.
You as well as I. But I just that experience. Well, I mean, we all have our own interpretations of things.
And of course, for an atheist, I mean, we're not going to. I mean, what we believe is that when you die, you just kind of cease to exist. So we're not even going to know the answer when we die, because we won't be alive to know the answer.
Well, that's not necessarily true, but you know. I mean, as somebody said to me that was very spiritual, if you want to believe the alternative, think of the cost. But
that's the
no. But what I'm saying is the Bible incident to me, guys. You know, I can grant you the park thing. Yeah. Although the second one was a little difficult to grant, but the Bible thing, that was totally.
And you can find symbolism in a lot of things.
Well, you don't believe in God, so you don't believe in the Bible. But
well, no, I mean, I have one right here.
Okay, but if you're saying...
I believe the Bible exists.
The existence of the Bible is not in dispute.
But you don't believe the existence of God. Okay,
exactly.
I guess that's true.
Exactly.
I mean, is the true definition of an atheist is that you don't believe in anything, but you do believe in something?
Well, we don't believe in gods.
Okay. So if you don't believe in God, the person I was directly asking for this proof to was God, who I didn't necessarily believe in either.
Yeah. Well,
and
again,
I didn't believe... I was angry. It wasn't that I was sitting there saying, I really love you and I want to believe in you. It was like, prove me that you really exist, because I don't believe it, and I was angry.
And that would also usually be, you know, my question is, again, if God is all-powerful and he really wants to help you out in this experience, again, I'm assuming that the general idea here is you were going through a bad patch, you wanted some kind of confirmation, and he says...
many bad patches. It was this is like one more bad patch.
Yeah, and I know this is oversimplifying the situation, and I accept that definitely. But then he is coming into your life and saying, you know, okay, don't worry about it, I'm here. My issue, I guess, would be, why isn't he being a little bit stronger in it?
Being very strong in it.
Why with these relatively, you know...
Cryptic.
Again, when you're talking about an all-powerful being, that's a pretty cryptic thing to say, here, let's have a whole bunch of bugs flying around.
Rather than having like a bush burning in your garage that's not being...
Do what?
It's a bush burning in your garage that's not being consumed by the fire, and the voice of God coming out of it.
That I'm not even, you know, I mean, it's like my viral load after these 3 experiences dropped radically.
Yeah. And
my doctor said, I don't know why this is or what happened.
Yeah.
But whatever you're doing, keep doing it.
I mean, here's the thing, is for every person who has ever asked God for a sign and been given one, there's probably at least twice as many people that have been asked God for a sign and not been given one. For every person who has survived a disease or an illness or a hard experience, and because they asked God to get them through it, there are hundreds and thousands and millions of people who died from that same experience, even though they asked God for help. And, you know, the religious answer to that is God works in mysterious ways. Well, if God doesn't want me to believe in him, then I don't, because he's never given me any sign that he exists. He's never given me any irrefutable sign. I'm not going to walk into my garage and notice that there's a mysterious glow and say, wow, there's a God.